Hey everybody, and welcome to In Deep Crit. This evening, doing a recorded play of Earthdawn, the role-playing system from FASA Games. I apologise for the noise of my computer. It's having a moment. My name is Damion Humphreys, and I am the games master for this game. And with me, we have.
Hi, I'm Luke Hindmarsh, the other half of In Deep Crit, playing the Obsidian Man Achulian. Sorry.
And I'm Kieran playing the Elementalist Brimstone.
Hey, my name's Ian. I am playing a dwarven thief by the name of Alabaster Moon.
Hi, and my name's Phil, and I am also playing a dwarf, but a nethermancer called Thorndor.
Right, marvellous.
So, Damion, what is Earthdawn?
Earthdawn is, like I said, a role-playing game from FASA. It's been around for quite a long time. Edition 1 was way back in the 90s sometime. We're now on the 4th edition. It's a role-playing game of, so I would describe it as dark high fantasy. So there's a very fantastical element to it. There's a very heroic element to it. The player characters, the Adepts, as they are, who follow disciplines rather than classes, are larger than life. Can do all their abilities are kind of fueled by magic. There's a lot of different spell casting, a lot of mystical beasts and monsters. But there's also this horror behind the whole system, behind the whole world. The world was plunged into a time called the Scourge, where because magic has got so high that horrors had come through from extra-dimensional space and ravaged the world. Everybody had been hidden away for hundreds of years to survive this scourge. Some to a greater and lesser degree of success than others. And now the world is just kind of trying to rebuild from that time. So the idea is, it kind of says in the book, that the world of Earthdawn is one of legend. And that heroes, this is the time of legends, and heroes are rising from these sealed off cares and citadels, emerging into the world to make their legends come true and to have their names recorded in legend and achieve amazing heroic deeds. Or perhaps amazing notorious deeds. I've met these guys. I wonder which way they're going to go this time.
Maybe we don't even know.
Maybe. So yeah, it uses some interesting mechanics. There's a stepped dice mechanic, so different ranks of abilities give you a different number of dice to roll, so they can be either a single die or a d8, d6, 2d10, depending on the number that you're looking for. But essentially everything is rolls against target numbers for abilities, spells, etc. It's pretty straightforward once you get into it. So get into it we shall, I think. So we have done a little session 0 where everybody created their characters and we had a bit of a discussion about where everybody came from and who was who, whether everybody knows each other or not. So this is the world of Earthdawn. This is where most of the action takes place. There are some supplements coming that expand the world, but this is the land of Barsaive, which is where our adventures will take place. So we had a discussion and you all decided that you were going to come from the same Kaer. So a Kaer is a sealed off place that survived the Scourge, and quite often there were very many different types of people there. They weren't just one dwarf Kaer and one obsidian man Kaer and one Tiskrang Kaer. We have a Tiskrang member, unfortunately, who's absent this evening, but will hopefully be here next session. So there are a couple of unusual races and or origins, and a couple of unusual takes on the classic kind of orcs and trolls and stuff as well. They're not quite the same as you would find them in perhaps some other role-playing games that I'm not going to mention. So it was decided that you all came from the same Kaer, which if we zoom in is here. I managed to write it in the world's smallest lettering.
It's all right. Luckily, the Foundry lets you zoom in enough to be able to see it.
Yeah. You can zoom in enough, right? So Kaer, which is here at the very edge of the Thrall Mountains. Thrall being the kind of main kingdom, the main ruling kingdom of Barsaive. That's where the dwarven kingdom of Thrall exists, and they had kind of a fairly benign dominion over Barsaive. Then there was a war with an outside empire, called the Therans, and then Thrall kind of wrested control again, and is currently trying to kind of rebuild the world. And just to the south of the Bloodwood, which is something else that we will find out about in the course of our adventures. It didn't always used to be called the Bloodwood, let's put it that way. So, Kaer is where you come from, just on the edge of the Serpent River there. Nicely placed next to the Thrall Mountains and the Bloodwood. And we discussed, so you all know each other. Would you like to kind of introduce your characters a little bit more? So everybody gets more of a feel of who they are. So maybe Ashulian, you could go first.
I am Ashulian, obsidian of moderate age, and I like to beat metal into shapes that are useful and teach these younger ones some of the patience my kind are known for. I look forward to getting out into the world and seeing if I can perhaps bring knowledge back to the Kaer.
Lovely. Let's go with Alabaster Moon next.
Hi, I'm Alabaster. I'm a little bit of a rogue, but I do like to explore. And there's a lot of danger. There's a lot of danger out of the Kaer. But there's treasure to be found as well. There's wonderful things to see. Do you like my hat, by the way? Isn't it a nice hat? Quite fancy. I got it in a bit of a gambling deal. Don't tell my parents. They'd be very upset with me. Good dwarves shouldn't gamble for hats. Should gamble for, well, for pleasure. For gold. For hats. What was I talking about? Excitement. Treasure. Things.
Thank you, Alabaster. Let's go with Sol next.
So Sol grew up in the Kaer with these guys. He's always been quite perceptive and meditative and quite withdrawn, or as an elementalist, always in awe of nature unfolding, and always very keen to see his perception of things is that he's always looking at the minutiae, the equivalent of chemistry today. So he's always looking at the interactions of the 5 elements. He believes a lot of what he sees is just the interactions of the 5 elements. A little bit like in the Matrix when Neo's just constantly looking at code and not seeing the world for more than what it is.
Marvelous.
He's a quiet observer, somebody who secretly needs a new teacher. And he has a thirst to learn more skills.
Excellent. Well, we'll see if a teacher presents themselves to Sol Brimstone at some point. And lastly, then we have Throndor Gilmarin.
I am Frondor. Like Alabaster, I am a singular disappointment to my family. I come from a stable branch of dwarves who craft, who care, who build things, and I was not interested in any of it. And the moment our cairn opened up, I took the chance and I am gone. I care about the balance between life and death. I care about finding where these horrors are, what lurks, all the things that are interesting and different. And I am determined to prove that my approach to life has some value, that I am not a disappointment to my family.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, everybody. Some good introductions there, giving us a flavour of what you guys are like. So Earthdawn's quite interesting in that a discipline is not just a class. It's a way of life. It's a way of viewing the world, and I think that came across there with, the kind of your drives and your interests for your various disciplines. So yeah, lovely stuff, lovely stuff. Shortly after coming out of the Kaer, so the Kaer, so the first Kaers were opened just over 100 years ago, but it's taken a while for the message to kind of spread to every little part of Barsaive. And your Kaer is quite small and was kind of, despite being quite close to the Thrall Mountains, was kind of overlooked until one day a group of adventurers came past and kind of told your leaders the good news that the Scourge has ended, although maybe hasn't completely ended. The way of measuring the background magic was to have a bowl of elemental water with a ball of elemental earth suspended above it, and as the background magic dropped, the ball of earth would lower itself until eventually, when the background magic was gone, it would hit the bowl of water, and that would signify that all the magic had gone out of the world. It kept dropping and dropping and dropping, and then stopped, and then has stayed stable ever since. So it's not quite touched. So there is a level of background magic still in the world. So, and there are rumours you've heard of some horrors and some horror constructs and horror tainted people still being about. So it's not the completely mundane world that it was when your ancestors locked themselves away in the Kaer all those hundreds of years ago. It's taken a while to get this expedition together, to get this particular group of adepts together, to find volunteers, to find people of suitable ability to go out into the world and to represent Kaer Tratten in the world, to find out what's going on in the wider world, bring that news back to the Kaer. And to have some heroes coming from Kaer Tratten and maybe start building the legend of Kaer Tratten and the heroes that came from there, whatever they end up deciding to call themselves. So a couple of days after you've come out of the Kaer and exploring the local area, you can see Bloodwood over the north side of the river. Attempting to get close to the river, you saw some quite disturbing looking elves kind of staring at you and giving you very much hints that you would not be welcome to cross that part of the river and cross into Bloodwood. These elves, they look like elves of the stories, but they all have massive thorns sticking out of their bodies, almost like they're growing out of their bodies. Constantly torn skin, constantly bleeding, weeping sores where these thorns have come through their skins, and they look to be in pain constantly. Possibly might kind of lead to their temperament a little bit, perhaps. But they've certainly warned you away from the Bloodwood for now. Shortly after this, a caravan approached you. This is a caravan travelling from a place called Bartertown, which is right at the gates of the Kingdom of Thrall, just over here. It's massive, kind of started as an open-air bazaar and has turned into a ramshackle town of shops and huts and ne'er-do-wells kind of plying their trade outside of the Kingdom of Thrall, whilst having to avoid perhaps paying some of the taxes that would be involved by being inside the kingdom. So this caravan is...
No called anti-entity there, then.
So this caravan is travelling from there, and it's travelling to Parlength over here, which is... You've kind of heard the legends, you've heard the stories. As this caravan has picked you up, they kind of said, we need some more caravan guards. We're heading towards Parlength. It's a really good place to find adventure and to start understanding this world as it is. Would you like to come along? We'll give you free passage in return for your acting as guards. To which you all, for narrative reasons, said yes. Because if you all said no, really quick thinking. So you've heard the stories as you travelled. So they actually have crossed the river just at this point here, but just skirting the edge of the Bloodwood, and then taking a route between the Scythia Mountains and the Korkovik Mountains to head round to Parlength. The stories you've been told about Parlength are quite incredible. Parlength was the provincial capital of the Theron Empire when they were trying to run Barsaive. And before the Scourge came, instead of locking it away in a citadel or building a Kaer around it, what they decided to do was vanish it completely from the face of the world. So all of the best Theron mages got together to create a ritual that would move Parlength into a pocket dimension. And at the same time, make people forget that it existed for the time that it was gone. The spell kind of went awry. It worked in that it shifted it to a pocket dimension. However, it completely erased all memory of Parlength from anybody who'd ever lived, apart from those who went with it. So for a time, like, nobody even remembered that it existed in the first place. And then there were certain clues that were discovered by a party of adventurers who eventually managed to bring Parlength back, which was once this great, wonderful Theron city full of wonderful architecture and life and bazaars, treasures, all kinds of wonderful, amazing items, came back completely ruined and destroyed. It seems that at least one horror, probably more than one horror, got into Parlength before it was shifted into the pocket dimension. And the thought of being trapped alone with any of the horrors for hundreds of years would have done to anybody in Parlength, trapped alone in this pocket dimension, is just it's too much to think about, really. It's quite distressing to think about the level of the horrors. The horrors feed on pain, and they feed on terror, and they feed on hatred, all of the negative stuff. So they would have inflicted that in their victims so that they could feed off that. So it wouldn't be a simple case of them just killing them. It would have been hundreds of years of torment at the hands of these horrific, otherworldly entities that are beyond imagining. Their motives are beyond comprehension. However, in the years since then, an adventuring party and a troll named Torguk and his friends excavated a corner of Parlength, a corner of the ruins, and turned it into the town of Haven, which is kind of frontier town adventuring settlement where people go along. They can get they can get gear, they can get supplies, and a base to launch their expeditions into the ruins of Parlength from, and also somewhere to sell any goods they find, any items they find. It's turned into this real bustling adventurers town, very busy. There are 5 adventuring companies that run their business from there, and these adventuring companies, every 6 months or so, fund a caravan to go to Bartertown and back to pick up supplies, etc. And it's this caravan that you've managed to pick up with. So you are travelling with 5 members of the adventuring companies, because although there's some tensions between each other, they're all going to keep an eye on each other as well, right? So they all send a representative along on each caravan. So you're travelling with 5 of those and a few other people who are heading into Haven. The people you're travelling with are Elora Sundamar, who is an elf. She's quite no nonsense. She's an illusionist. She's an elf illusionist. Illusionists tend to be quite kind of happy and kind of full of life and happy-go-lucky and entertaining people. Elora's not quite like that. She's quite dour and quite no nonsense, rather than being all full of fancy and trickery. She's the nominal head of the caravan, I suppose you could say. And then travelling with her are JT Ferrian, who is an orc scout, and he represents the gardeners as the adventuring company. He's very grumpy. He's quite an old orc. He's got quite a sharp tongue. One of you asked him what the JT stood for earlier on in the travels, and just got the answer, "Don't ask." He doesn't really do small talk, doesn't really do messing about, but he does a very good scouting job for the caravan. The third member is Xeolite Dreg, a member of the strongest arm, a Tiskrang swordmaster. Again, a little different from most Tiskrang and most swordmasters who are usually very boastful and prideful about what they do. Xeolite kind of has a humility about them that is not usual either for Tiskrang or swordmasters. But you have heard whispers from the other people travelling on the caravan that maybe they are quite deadly, and particularly good at what they do. There are rumours that they're one of the best tail dancers, which is a particularly Tiskrang thing to do. One of the best tail dancers in the world. Also travelling, you are Bosalyn Okram, who is a dwarf cavalryman, member of Loster's Lawbringers adventuring company. She has her dwarf, her Huttua, called Beaker, with her wherever she goes. A Huttua is a creature kind of the size of a lion, with a cat-like body, but with an eagle's head. Make very good mounts for dwarves, humans, tend to use them as mounts. Orcs sometimes use them as mounts. Orcs usually prefer something a bit bigger, maybe. She's very headstrong, very quick. Both Bosalyn and Beaker are both headstrong and pretty quick to act in a situation. She's very, very into the law, as it were. Whatever's driving her, she is definitely after a safe and lawful haven. And the last member is Nivek Jamar, who is a member of the Curators and is a human troubadour. Like, this guy just wants to be friends with everyone. He's a typical troubadour, got a story for every occasion, happy to talk about anything. Even if you particularly don't want to talk, he might talk to you or with you about any kind of subject that takes his fancy. Very fascinated in all things elven, and as you travel past Bloodwood, he told you about how one day he's going to go there and he's going to get a patron to kind of fund his expeditions into Parlength so that he can find some elven treasures to take to Bloodwood so that he's allowed into the wood. As I said, Haven is a rough and tumble frontier village on the edge of the ruins of Parlength. There's a few people trying out their luck there. So other people on the caravan are, there's a dwarf weaponsmith named Vetis from one of Thrall's inner cities who has his wife and his daughter with him, looking to start a new life. Another dwarf named Timon, headed for a fresh start. There's a human named Belleron who has been sent to take over Garland's Arms, which is a home for the infirm in Haven. Gruan and Tisha Indis, who are bickering orc brother and sister, looking to try their hand at exploring the ruins. And finally, a human mother, Ash, not going to get confusing at all, and her triplet sons, Huben, Duben, and Luben, are on their way to meet their father, who has supposedly struck it rich in the ruins of Parlength. So as you're travelling along, is there anyone in particular that you want to chat to? Any of those that you want to get more information on as you travel?
I just want to have a close look at the leader of the caravan. Because is she one of these elves with thorns in her flesh?
No. No, she is not. She's not a blood elf. She is yeah. Do you ask her about the thorns?
That would be far too hasty for me. But I watch her carefully.
Yeah.
I think Alabaster would be quite chatty with Nivek the troubadour, and interested to hear kind of tall tales and all kinds of stories of other places that would fuel the imagination, and perhaps a little bit of temptation of treasures and shiny things to be found.
Yeah, I mean, he tells you all sorts of fantastic stories. Tells you that deep in the Servos jungle, apparently there's a huge dragon who lives there, but nobody's ever got close enough to its domain to actually verify this. The troll raiders of the Twilight Peaks are still a nuisance, just as they were before the Scourge. They've come back out with exactly the same ideas to raid whatever caravan or merchant traffic is going past there. But yeah, if there's something you wanted to know about a part of Barsaive at any point, I can tell you what he said about it anyway. Not necessarily factual information, but certainly a troubadour's understanding of that place.
Cool. Anything Nivek says about dragons, Alabaster's going to jot down and make notes. He's got a real dragon kind of fetish.
Are you interested in the dragons, are you?
Oh, I can't wait to see one. Oh, I've heard some stories.
You know, there's only a few of them left in the world, right?
And that's why I need to see them.
There's one in Parlength.
Oh, I need to talk to them. Let's go.
She's called Charcoal Grin. She may let you talk to her. Maybe. She lets some Namegivers talk to her.
She'll talk to me. That'd be great.
Well, when she does, you bring back your story for me, okay, young'un?
That's a promise.
He says young'un even though he's a human and you're probably much older than him. Anybody else? Any background information as we're travelling?
I'd ask the troubadour about the horrors that are still there in Palinth if he'd talk about it.
He tells you all sorts of stories of people fighting things called bloatworms, which are big amorphous horrors that, look like big bloated slugs. There's something called a worm skull. There's all these words, and he's rolling them off like everybody knows what they are. You know, that this adventuring company that came across a worm skull, and then when you ask him about it, you know, well, it's a big skull made of worms. It's quite frightful, and all of these horrors have these insidious ways of getting inside your head and making you do things and turn against your friends. And some of them, like you're a spellcaster, are you? You're a magician. I mean, be careful where you cast spells in and around Parlength, because astral space there is very corrupted. And astral space is, as you kind of know from your interactions with magic, astral space has kind of different safety regions, as it were, since the Scourge. So some places are quite safe. Some places are, and it goes all the way up to corrupted, which is where the horror either does now live or has lived and kind of worked its stuff in the past. Spellcasting and that's why spellcasters use the matrices. So both you and Sol have got spell matrices, which is a safe way to cast spells, to channel them through them. You can cast them without using a matrix, which is very dangerous in corrupted astral space, because the horror might well see you without you seeing it. He tells you stories about people who have been horror marked through casting spells around Parlength and not known about it for years. They've gone about their business for 2 or 3 years with this horror kind of watching them and influencing them. And then after 2 or 3 years, the horror's just decided to set his plans into motion and send them completely mad.
So Sol sits there quite meditative for a while. The rocking of the caravan from the motion makes him drift off a little bit. But then he tries to keep himself awake, and his eyes are fixed on the Hutawa next to Boslin. And their eyes are kind of transfixed and looking at each other, and the Hutawa and Sol. So Sol strikes up a conversation with Boslin.
Yep.
He's interested in what she's hoping to, where she's travelling to, and wants to know more about Hutawa and her guild.
Okay. Well, I'm going back to Haven. I've come on this trip with this lot because someone's got to keep an eye on them, right? Make sure they do everything properly. I mean, you don't know whose sticky fingers are going to get where if you don't keep an eye on them, right? Make sure that they spend all the silver they took and spend it on the right things and bring back everything that they say they're going to bring back. Don't want any of these going light. Loester's Lawbringers. Yeah, we're based in Reddick Hall, in Haven. I mean, what do you want to know about us? Punish the wicked, protect the innocent. That's kind of what we do. Set up by Loester back in the day. We patrol Haven and the nearby bit of Parlink called the Smalls. Yeah, we're kind of like we look after the law in Haven, such as what there is of it and such as it is. Kind of uphold that everyone's doing the right thing. So if you ever get into trouble when you're up there, you come and see one of us. Or if you want to help us out, we're always taking on recruits.
I mean, I'm not quite sure yet. I'll certainly think about it.
Of course.
And this Hatoa, how old is it? And how long have you been travelling with it as your companion?
Oh, Beaker's what? How old are you now, Beaker? And she seems to have a brief conversation with the Hatoa. About 12, I think. I don't know quite how old she was when I got her, but yeah, I've had her 12 years. She comes with me everywhere. I'm a cavalry woman, pardon. And yeah, she's part of me. We're a well-oiled team. We work together.
And is she a fine, sturdy steed? Would you recommend her?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't have her, but I'd recommend a Hatoa to anyone.
Yeah, sorry. I'll laugh.
I'd recommend a Hatoa to anyone. Much better than a horse.
Would you even recommend Hatoa to an Obsidian?
Maybe you'd want something a bit bigger.
So you wouldn't recommend one to anyone, then?
I see what you did there, yes.
I'd
recommend them to anyone who could ride one.
They seem like a strong and capable beast.
They are. But they're maybe not as strong as what you're looking for. You'd be looking probably for more like a Thunderer beast.
Possibly, but I prefer the feel of ground beneath my feet.
I've met a couple of Obsidian men, and yeah, you like your connection to the earth, that's for sure.
It lets me stand.
Yeah, but it does. She kind of doesn't know what to say to that. Looks at her feet. Yeah. I guess we all stand on the same thing at the end of the day, right?
I also look at her feet and say, yes. But I then spend quite a long time looking at the ground as if it's the most fascinating thing I've seen all day.
Awesome. A couple of days of travelling along like this, getting to know everybody. Obviously, being guards, you're not always getting the luxury of riding in one of the wagons. Spend a lot of your days walking alongside, walking a little perimeter. So the other, apart from Elora, the other four are kind of the main guards, if you like. You feel like, perhaps this was a kindness that was offered to you for the free travel for acting as guards. JT, Xerli, Boslin, and Mivak kind of do quite a good job of guarding. JT's always out scouting ahead. The others are obviously very competent adepts in their own various disciplines, but they're also pleased to have some extra hands along. They can get making it easier to keep the caravan rolling, watching out for any dangers. So far, so good. But you can smell the difference before you see the difference. The winds start to change. Instead of flowering spring plants, you feel the harsh, arid air of the rocky dunes to the east. It isn't long before you see Ferian, the camp scout, riding hard back to camp. He bellows as only an orc can. A windstorm is coming from the east, and fast! We got maybe an hour till it's right on top of us. You and the other guards turn to the caravan leader, Alora Sundamar. We're too far from anywhere for shelter, the elf says. She turns to Ferian and the veteran guards. Help me get the pavilion up. Alora turns to you, the new recruits. You lot, get the wagons circled. We can't be vulnerable before or after this storm. She dismounts her wagon and starts gesturing for Ferian to grab the pavilion supplies, then turns back to you. We've got 4 wagons. Get the other 3 to form up around me like the points of a compass. Move it! You are all currently near the first wagon, which is Alora's.
Fab, whatever needs doing, let's do it.
I go to the most distant wagon and start dragging it in the right direction.
Okay. So you're all heading to the back wagon first of all, are you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll put on my hood first, and then I'll follow.
At the rear of the caravan is Ash's wagon. As you approach one of the triplets, they're not identical, but they all look pretty similar. You think this one is probably Cuban, and is holding the horse's reins. They're doing quite a good job of holding them in place. As you walk up to the wagon.
I grab the wagon and start to pull it in the direction it needs to go.
I mean, it's got horses on it, right?
And
Oh no, but we can't go yet. We can't go yet. Mum ain't said she ain't moving from this spot till she finds Lubin and whoops him silly. Says Cuban. Please, Mr. Big Stony Man, can you put our house down, please?
I'm sure he's just around here. We can look for him, but I've been told to move this. Must do as I'm told. I just ignore the cut shot and start moving the wagon. I don't know if you need me to roll anything, but I am probably stronger than
I'm in your...
I don't know. I don't entirely understand the stats. 22 strength is right high, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty high. You are very, very strong. You are very, very strong.
Maybe going forward.
So what step is your strength?
It's so 9.
9. So you're a little bit stronger than a draft horse, but there are 2 of them.
I mean, I'm not trying to fight against them. It's this way, horses, and then I'm just pulling, hoping that they've got the sense to go in the direction.
They kind of start following you, and just there's a little scream from the back, from behind the wagon, just off to the side. Ah! What are you doing? What are you doing? And Ash comes running around. My boy's missing. What?
We must find him.
Why are you dragging the wagon off?
We go to make shelter so that we not die in all the wind. We find your son soon, but he's not in wagon, so moving wagon to safe place makes sense. Plod.
Okay, Cuban, help this nice man take the horses up where the wagon needs to go.
Where did you last see your son?
He must be around here somewhere. I reckon he's run off into the long grass. One of them's always playing me up, and that Lubin, he's the worst of the lot of them. And she starts looking for a trail just a few yards away from where the wagon was.
I would like to do the same and kind of scurry around, being very perceptive.
Yep. Anybody else doing the same?
Yeah, me too.
So I think that'll be an awareness check for you, Alabaster. So if you've got awareness or another
I do.
perception type talent,
I've rolled some dice.
you have rolled some dice. First dice of the campaign. You've also got awareness as well, so you can both roll awareness.
I don't know how this works. I'm going into talents, skills.
Go to your talents and just click on the word awareness.
Oh, awareness. Okay, cool. And press OK.
Yep. There you go, both got step 8. So both of you pretty quickly realise that there are no tracks around here. He hasn't gone off into the grass at all. There's no tracks in this immediate vicinity. Like, you would have picked up the tracks of an 8-year-old quite swiftly. He's clearly somewhere else. What are you doing, Frondor?
So this wagon's covered, is it? Is it
Frondor,
like a...
sorry. Frondor, not Frondor.
Either.
Yeah, like a so Wild West kind of covered wagon type thing.
So, given that he probably thinks that, human, he's going to jump in the back and see if she's missed said human.
Okay.
And ahead before we wander about the wilderness all day in a storm.
So the third triplet is inside. Dubin. Can you give me a perception check, please? Which will just be clicking on your perception.
I also have awareness, if that helps.
So no, because this is not searching, this is kind of noticing.
I don't know what that did, but something happened.
You got an 8?
Yep.
So as soon as you get in the back and start looking around, Dubin is like he's trying not to, but he's obviously also really trying not to laugh. Obviously finds something terribly amusing, and he's kind of, he's doing that little boy kind of straight face, shoulders shaking, kind of trying to hold in all this excitement and laughter that he's got inside. And this is, hello, as you come in.
So I've got my full skin hood, it covers my face on, and I'll start taking out the edge of the grimoire, and I'll give him a great, hard look.
So your hood is made of skin? Is this what you're telling us?
Just right over the face, yeah. And so I'm giving him a real, proper, there.
Okay, do you have... Let me have a look. Oh, you've got frighten, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a frighten roll then. Yeah. I mean, this kid is terrified immediately. Oh my god! Mister! Honestly, I'm not in on it. It wasn't my idea. He's in the other wagon. He's gone into Rhea and Vetus's wagon. He's gone to play with Rhea in the weaponsmith's wagon. I reckon they're in love. Please don't hurt me, please.
Round and hop down and tell the others and the mother he's in the other wagon.
Okay.
Are we all together still? Because obviously I've just been plodding on, probably lecturing the other kid, whichever one it was, Dubin, Fluban, Katubin, Malubin, I didn't pick the names, about you should stay close to your life rock, I mean your mother, and try to absorb all the knowledge and dreams of future. Making no sense to him because he's not an obsidian.
Yeah. He's just wide-eyed staring at you. He's not leading the horses. You're doing it all. He's just kind of walking along, holding a slack rein, going, okay.
Do you want a view from up here? And then I lift him above my head like that. It's all right. You're not weighing anything.
So yeah, going back to the others, Thorndor deliver the message to Ash. Oh, I'm gonna whip his hide, and she goes running off past the wagon that's being led now by Ash up to the wagon. So that will take us to the second wagon. So Vetus's wagon is not going anywhere. The horses have just stopped. They're refusing to move on. Refusing to cooperate. Something about the air and the atmosphere has got them spooked. So they're refusing to even go anywhere right at this moment. Vetus is a kind of surly dwarf weaponsmith. He's trying to get them going. Go on, you bloody nags! Come on, get a move on, you obstinate little bastards! Get a move on! And to no avail, the horses had just dug their feet right in, almost as if they were mules rather than horses.
As soon as we get ahead of him, I'm no longer pulling the rear wagon, so I stop, put the child down, and go to what the rear wagon now is, and start pulling that one, which is the one with the horses that don't want to move. I don't take the horses, I just take the wagon. And if they don't want to move, they get a wagon up the rear. Okay.
I'll take back over where Ash was trying to lead the other horses into position. The other wagon.
Okay.
I'm still looking for a kid.
Well,
Thorn, you were with Ash when Thorndor said. So
I find that hilarious. Yeah.
So these horses are not cooperating. They are not being dragged off. So I'm gonna need you to, because if you want to carry on pulling it past them, I'm gonna need a strength check against a difficulty of 8 with 2 extra successes. So that means you need to get an 18.
So difficulty.
Because each extra success is 5.
Right, difficult. Sorry, hang on.
So difficulty 8, which is the strength step of 1 horse.
Yeah.
And then 2 extra successes.
Where am I putting in 2 extra successes?
So just to let you know that your target is 18.
Oh, I see. Right. So I put difficulty 8 in.
Yeah.
And then let me see what that then says. Hold on a moment.
Yeah, this wagon's not going anywhere. Neither are the horses. Perhaps a less physical method might need to be employed with these ones.
I will keep on pulling. Time will eventually tell. So I just continue to strain at it. Not mindlessly, but...
what was the name of the cavalier? The dwarf?
Ocelin.
Do I know which wagon she was in?
She's off kind of as an external guard. Well, no, she's just come back helping with the pavilion, actually. So she's at the front helping with the pavilion.
So can I run over to her? Because I think she might be good with animals, theoretically. And I'll tell her about the problem with the horses.
Yeah, cool. Sol and Alabaster, what are you doing in this time?
I mean, Alabaster's going to be kind of a little bit flitting from one wagon to the next, kind of just being a bit guardy, a little running on adrenaline, kind of waiting for any direction, checking things are okay, going back again, looking at the horses, impressed by the obsidian, and then kind of scuttling to and fro. Bit of a nervous energy.
Okay.
I've gone with Throndar because I thought it was a really good idea, and having spoken to Boselin earlier, wanted to see her animal handling skills in practice. The cavalryman.
Cool. So, Alabaster, are you going to the other wagon as well, or just?
Oh yeah.
So you're going to the third wagon you haven't been to yet.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is being driven by Tisha, the sister. So this is the orcs, brother and sister's wagon. And they've also got Beleron and Timon travelling with them. So that's who's kind of in that caravan. Tish is normally quite calm and reasonable and quite happy. So yeah, as you approach her,
Yeah, everyone okay? Everyone all right here? Everything okay? You all right?
Yeah. What's going on? What's happening? There's a bit of commotion going on. What's going on?
Oh, just a bit of mischief, and now some horses also being mischievous. I don't know what's worse, a child or a horse. Probably the horse.
What are they putting the tent up for? What's going on?
Oh, there's some bad weather coming. Nothing for you to worry about. We're just gonna be okay. And I'll scuttle off again.
Okay. Just as you start to scuttle off, the back of the wagon, there's a huge roar erupts as only an angry orc can make. And the sound of a crash as something gets turned over. And you hear Guran shouting at probably, well, because he's saying, you useless human cheating bastard. He was probably talking to Beleron. I know you was cheating. I know you've got extra cards up there. Come on, show them to me. And then the wagon starts shaking as an obvious fight has broken out inside.
I'll scuttle in. Come, bide everyone. And tell me about these cards.
So Guran has got, they're tussling, they're rolling about, and Guran gets the upper hand as you get in and kind of holds Beleron up to the side of the caravan and is about to start punching him. What are you saying to calm him down?
I'll jump on his arm and say, calm. You know you could smash him to smithereens. We've got trouble afoot. There's bad weather. We need to we need to pay attention to that. Not little squabbles. If you want, and if you're worried, we'll have a look up his sleeves. Calm.
Okay. So I'm going to definitely allow you to make a charisma check, unless you have a talent that you think would aid.
Would my engaging banter help? I don't think so.
I think it would. No, I think your engaging banter would help. I don't think first impression would help because you've already met these people.
Absolutely.
So I think engaging banter is certainly a way to go.
Cool. Straight roll on that?
Yeah.
Not that it's straight. Big ol' 6.
Yeah, he completely ignores you and punches Beleron straight in the face. Who, yeah, whips out a little cudgel stick thing and is about to get involved and fight back.
Come on, gents. Come on. I'll be kind of a little slightly cautious of not getting in the way of any cudgel and or fist, but kind of try and kind of wedge myself to push them apart and kind of use my body as a bit of a, we've got bigger things to worry about.
Okay.
Would no, I don't think my streetwise would kind of work with trying to break up thuggery and kind of work this.
No.
But I'm definitely kind of just being mindful of using avoid blow just in case one of them gets a little handsy.
Yeah, so Beleron cracks Guran around the side of the head with his cudgel. Guran lets go of him, and Beleron leaps out the back of the wagon and starts running away.
I'll run after him. Beleron!
Cool.
Beleron!
You go running after him. I'm not going back near that bloody crazy orc. And he just keeps running.
Beleron!
At which point, you guys are getting back with Bosalin, who's agreed to come and help with the horses. Ash, you notice that Guran leaps out of the back of the wagon, jumps up onto the front of the wagon, pushing his sister aside, and turns the horses and starts chasing after Beleron with the wagon. So that wagon is now getting further out of position from where it was supposed to be.
Is that now the furthest away wagon?
It will be very soon.
I say to fellow weaponsmith, if Your horses are too stupid to want to get away from wind. Unhitch them. I can drag this wagon, but I must take the furthest away. And I watch as the other wagon gets too far away and then let go and start pursuing the one that was getting further. It depends how fast it's going.
What's your speed?
Oh, good question. Where would I find that? Hang on, sorry, perhaps on the
movement rate on the front sheet.
No, normal is 10.
Okay, so yeah, because of the time it's taken to kind of turn around and get the horses moving and stuff, they don't immediately go to full on, and they're cart horses as well. They're not thoroughbred racing horses. You can certainly catch up to them.
I grab hold of the wagon and drag on the back of it to try to stop it.
Okay. So we'll come to that in a second. We'll just deal with Boselin first of all, who comes to the horses and makes an animal bond test. Which...
Secret dice rolls.
Yeah.
Yes, which does succeed. Yes. So, yeah. Obviously, I'm private GMing role, right? Yes. So after a bit of negotiation, a bit of talking to the horses, she does manage to kind of create this bond with them and calm them down and get them moving. So now there are 2 out of 3 wagons moving in the right direction, all nice and sorted. The 3rd wagon is being chased down by Obsidian Manash.
Sorry.
Sorry, yeah. Is anybody else giving chase?
While she was dealing with the horses, I was going to try and find the dude who's run off, the bard. I presume he is.
No, he's just he's the guy who's going to take over the kind of Kaer hospice, Garland's Arms in Haven.
Track him
Alabaster is also chasing after him. Then Guran and the wagon is chasing after them. And Ash is chasing after that. Cue the chase scene music. I don't have it queued up, unfortunately.
Got it in my head.
Yeah, one of those proper black and white movie kind of hectic violin chase scenes, right? Okay, it's going to be the same to try and stop this wagon as it was to get the other one moving.
Sure.
So strength, 2 extra successes.
Is there a way of using we can use some kind of like additional attempt to give a bonus or a reroll? I'm not sure I necessarily have my head around the mechanics.
So there is a thing called karma.
That's it.
Which adds a d6 to your roll, and you can use that on any of your discipline talents.
Right. That's where that's useful, not on because they're magical.
Yeah.
Whereas.
Yes.
Cool.
Later on, as you go through circles, you get an opportunity to use karma on different things.
Right.
So, yeah. But at the moment, you can only use it on your talents because they are. So, and not the one you took as a talent option, but we'll come to that when the time comes.
Gotcha, no worries. So if I just roll strength and don't bother adding anything or fiddling with that, you can just tell me whether it succeeds. Is that easier rather than trying to input all the information up front? Yeah, obviously it's the same as last time, right?
Yeah, they're just...
Wow. Rolled another 7.
just pulling you along. So
I just dig my heels in and let them drag me. Wrong way, horses.
For people watching along, Earthdawn also uses an exploding dice mechanic. So if you roll the maximum number on any die, it re-rolls. And if you roll the maximum again, you can re-roll again and again and again. So you can theoretically get ridiculously huge numbers. But re-rolls do come up fairly often. So yeah, there is a possibility, even though I might say like you're only rolling a d8 and a d6, people might think, well, how are you supposed to get an 18 on that? is because of the possibility of getting rerolls on maximum rolls. So it's not quite as unfair as I made it sound, just very difficult. Yeah, you're now being dragged along by a wagon.
Leaving a nice extra furrow in the
Yeah.
back. I mean, I'd like to think I'm slightly slowing them,
Slightly, yeah.
which is
Slightly.
it's got to be.
So
I mean, I do
Well, it
weigh an
must-
awful lot, so
you do, yes. Yeah, this is true. Yeah, you will be having a significant drag effect. Alabaster, what are you doing to try and catch Belleron?
So let's face it, I'm a dwarf. I'm not built for running. How kind of far away is Belleron? Because I imagine he'll increase his distance.
Yeah, he is increasing his distance. So you gave chase straight away, so he's only a few yards ahead of you at the moment.
Belleron, stop! There's danger. We need to talk. There's bad weather and bad things and children and horses and
Okay, give me a charisma check, and you'll need one extra success against his social defense. Which is, I mean, what is it? Well, yeah.
So that's just.
Hang on a minute. Let me. This is where I go to my GM screen. For difficulty numbers.
Do I put in a difficulty number?
No, I just need to know what I'm having you roll against, really.
Probably quite low. I'm very charismatic.
Difficulty number table.
I mean, Alabaster's quite charming.
Okay, yeah. I've got a number in mind.
Haha! I've rolled a 6. A magic
number I had
number.
in mind was 6. So he kind of slows, and he's not coming back, but he's slowed right down. He's kind of then he turns around and is kind of jogging backwards, like, oh, but I don't want to be anywhere near that crazy orc. He's mental. Said I was cheating.
Were
I wasn't
you?
cheating. I wasn't cheating.
Can I look for any tells that he might be telling a fib?
Yes.
Streetwise.
Let me just check streetwise a minute. No,
Okay.
that's very much to do with urban environments. I'll let you make a straight perception test.
Why has it got to be straight? There you go.
An unmodified perception test.
Like, that's a 9.
Yeah, he's lying out of his ass. Yeah, he was cheating.
I'll kind of give him my dwarf stare. It's none of my business if you were cheating or not. But you probably were, though, weren't you? But there's better things to worry about right now. We need to get you back. All hands. Yeah. Stuff. Stop being a dick. Come on.
It starts walking back with you, but kind of in a big route to avoid the onrushing caravan, which is still coming, albeit at a slower rate. The other two of you, Sol and Thorndar, doing anything during this chase?
I was trying to run towards the running humans, so.
Right, okay, so you catch up just as Alabaster kind of talks him down. There is a mad orc charging at you on a cart with 2 cart horses, a wagon with 2 cart horses, bearing down on you at the moment. Sol?
I'm watching in disbelief as at what's unfolding with Ash, particularly, but also the general chaos. I'm just
enjoying the view.
Just enjoying the view. I'm a bit,
Just invented popcorn.
yeah, pretty much. Just a bit drop jaw, thinking what?
You look like you're eating pebbles. Are they nice?
Yes, I believe in a parallel universe, this may be a delicacy. The ethers of astral energy tell me this may be a possibility in another place
Where the horrors come from.
where the horrors come from. And
So
even beyond.
all of you have kind of worked out that Guran has got his he's got his backup. He's got his so orcs have this thing where they have certain lines, but once they're crossed, they've kind of got this Gahad, I believe it's called, which means they won't back down. So he's going to need to be physically restrained or perhaps knocked out. It's the only way that this situation is going to be resolved.
I let go of the horses. Of the back of the wagon. In fact, I don't. I start pushing it, adding my strength to it. So it's now going to go faster.
Okay. I mean, So they're in kind of like
traces.
They're in traces, so so they are being pushed along with it. If you push it too fast, they probably will break their legs.
I wouldn't know that. I don't know anything about horses. What I'm planning to do is this: push it along so it suddenly speeds up, and then I'm going to suddenly stop.
Okay. So the wagon speeds up, heading towards all of you. This mad orc, yes, faster! We'll get the bastard! Thank you, mate, thank you! Looking back at Ash.
It's all right. Thank me later.
You've all got like one decision of something to do.
I'll get the hell out of the way of this wagon.
Right?
I'm a little dwarf. I'm lovely, but just no.
Quick question. The frightened talent, does that only apply to humans or does that apply to animals?
Let me look. The Adepts scares a target by staring silently into the character's eyes, but horses are technically Games Master characters in the way this is worded. So yeah, it will absolutely work on them.
So I'm going to try and frighten them to get them to rear and stop, is the plan.
Okay.
Hopefully around about the time I manage to pull back hard.
Yeah. Well, we're going to
sailing into space.
What is the mystic defense of a draft horse, I wonder?
You might have to explain the karma rules to me again when this goes horribly wrong, so...
You have to decide before you roll whether you're spending karma on it or not.
Oh, great! So that's not a re-roll then.
I'm sure it'll be fine. It's a draft horse. What could
It's not a
possibly
reroll,
go
no.
wrong?
It adds a d6. It means you roll an extra d6 alongside. So yeah, go ahead and make that frighten test.
Is it karma charge? Or is it like...
Daily, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So you do a half-hour karma ritual at the beginning of each day to recharge your karma.
I'm going to use one.
You can only use one.
Yeah.
So.
I've said use yes, so hopefully this will apply when I do it.
Should work. Nice. Yeah, so you got a couple of sixes there, so you got a couple of extra rolls as well. And you're pulling back at the same time, are you, Ash?
Well, the moment I feel any change in speed, I will take that as a now to yank back as hard as possible.
Give me a straight strength roll then. Nice. That's
I like rolling.
It's good enough because they're being frightened. Yeah, so they get a -2 from their steps, so they're working at step 6 at the moment anyway. Because of being well, actually, they get a -3 4 from their steps because you beat that by you got 2 extra successes on that fighting roll. So yeah, the horses absolutely terrified. Like immediately go to that wide-eyed, foaming at the mouth, completely crazed. Rear back up, neighing and pawing at the air, right onto their back legs, like that kind of weird wobbly backwards dance that a horse is about to do. Just as Ash then pulls the wagon back and stops it. Which leads Gahan to go flying off the front of the wagon.
Oh dear.
Not falling off the wagon, flying right off it.
Flying off the wagon. I'm going to...
Oh dear.
So I'm working out damage for everybody, basically. So I'm going to give the horses each take step 8 damage. Step 8 might seem a bit high, actually. Hang on. Where's that falling damage table? Because that's a good guide. Falling damage, here it is. This is a really good GM screen, by the way. It's got everything you need on it.
Just a note here. I'm against cruelty to animals. Not intending to hurt the horses.
So actually, I think so. Distance fallen of 4 to 6 yards is step 10 damage. So I think that's probably fair enough for the horses. And step 15 for Gahan, who is flying even further. And I'll make these public rolls. So one horse takes 2 damage, the other horse takes 5 damage. So they are strained and take a bit of damage, but they don't take a wound, so neither of them breaks anything. So they're absolutely fine to continue. Cool. I haven't got a step 15 on here, have I?
That's a promising sign for Gahan. Doesn't go up to 15, you'll be fine. Yeah.
It's going to be 3 step 5s then, right? So he takes a total of 14 damage. Yeah, 14 damage. So he does take a wound. Yeah, he goes flying forward and cracks his head on the ground. Cracks his head open. Knocked out cold.
Oh no.
I mean, he's no longer driving the horses away in a crazed state, but he is knocked out cold and taken a wound, so he is going to take some time to recover. I mean, he's not an adept; he's just a regular orc. So,
can I go and pick him up and put him over a shoulder? Actually, hold him up in the air because that other little human found that quite fun. This little orc might think it fun too.
I mean, he's knocked out cold. He's going to be out for a few minutes at least.
Sure, I still hold him above my head and start walking back in the other direction.
Try and get on the wagon and get it to
move. Perhaps not you, because you've just terrified the horses and they're still terrified of you.
They won't be able to see me.
Because that lasts a while, right?
I have no idea.
The target remains scared for a number of rounds equal to the Adepts' fighting rank.
Well,
it's only rank 1, so yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah, between all of you, you managed to get the horses settled down. You managed to get Valerion is now going to ride in Ash, the mother's wagon, so that he doesn't have to be anywhere near Gahan. Yeah. Get it all settled down. The pavilion is being set up while all this commotion is going on, and then you have the 4 wagons, like the points of a compass, coming out from the pavilion. Those stakes are put in to hold the to tie the horses up to. Yeah, and everything kind of calms down just as the wind begins to rise up, and a fierce sandstorm erupts from the east. Like, it's like nothing you've ever seen or heard before. I mean, obviously you've spent most of your life until now in a Kaer, but even the stories of sandstorms don't do this any justice. Like the very spirits of the air seem to be enraged as it's whirling and whistling around your camp. The kind of veteran guards are still out guarding in the sandstorm. You know, in amongst the wagons and stuff. You're all inside with everybody else. It's quite a cramped condition. In fact, I will move you onto this map.
Excellent.
So quite cramped conditions inside the tent. So this is Elora Sundamar here. All the tokens marked with... Okay. Ah, yeah. Sorry.
Getting the wind sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just loading 98%.
I'm also getting the wind sounds off you, Phil.
That's it. I just told that to stop a minute ago.
If you go to global volume control, you can adjust playlists and ambient from there.
Yeah.
Which will be any time we go to a new screen, it will keep it at the same level. Okay, so yeah, this is Elora here, and all of the tokens marked with N. N stands for non-combatant, so they're the other people from the wagons.
Gotcha. I put Gahan down eventually.
Cool. And as the evening draws into night, yeah, Gahan is kind of tended to by the others. Eventually wakes up and has a sore head and is grumbling still about Bellaron being a dirty, cheating bastard, but he's not got his ire up anymore. You know, he's calmed down now. He's obviously taken a bit of a knock as well. As the evening draws into night, the winds get fiercer. The guards outside, those of you who kind of look out the tent entrance every now and again. After a while, when was the last time you saw any of them? Like they've stopped doing. Certainly can't. You don't know if it's because you can't see that far, or because they're not doing circuits of the camp anymore. But it looks like they've wandered off. All of them, all four of them, seem to have wandered off. And you hear the horses whinnying just behind them in distress. And then off in the distance, seeming to come a little bit closer as wolves howl. The horses getting distressed in the distance.
I start
getting
close. Out of the tent, moving slowly but surely in that direction of the horses.
Yeah, so the horses are on this corner here.
Show again, please.
Here.
Okay. Is there an exit that way? No.
There's just the one exit right where you are. So stop there for a moment. As you come out of the tent, you can see two. I don't know if you can see that actually. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, just on the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
You can see two wolves, sickly looking, half-starved, mangy desert wolves moving in towards you, towards the tent. And they growl as they see you. But coming from behind the tent, more towards where the horses were, you can still hear the commotion as more wolves are clearly closing in on the horses.
Oh, well, I better draw my sword.
And this
I'm
is...
going to head out as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's really...
Cool. So if everyone wants to get out of the tent, I'll let you all get out of the tent before we do initiative. Take a few steps forward.
Which direction are the horses? Sorry.
Kind of this.
So the horses,
that corner, you said.
Southwest corner, yeah. You've obviously got wagons on all 4 points of the compass.
Yeah.
And you can hear yeah, you can hear other wolves moving about in the darkness.
I mean, I'd
So-
probably be moving more towards the horses.
So now here we go. Bear with me a second. If you could, yeah, stop moving your tokens for a moment so I can.
Okay.
Toggle the combat state.
God.
Bear with me a second. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just do all the wolves on the same initiative. That's probably
Or
easier. Right?
3 of the wolves. The total pack is 3. I'm sure
Is it?
I'm right, aren't I?
Might be. Might be. So yeah, have you all got access to the combat tracker?
Maybe.
Yes.
The little crossed swords, if you right click on that, the combat tracker will pop out and then you can all roll your initiative by clicking the die.
I take it lower's better, yeah?
No, higher is better.
Oh, result.
Yeah,
How do you roll?
Let's stack them in the right order. There's a little white die next to your name on the combat tracker. Just click on that and that'll roll initiative.
Oh, there. Okay. Alright.
Ian, have you got that?
So, right click my character, I see the cross swords, press that.
No, sorry. So the cross swords on the right hand side next to the chat messages. On the
Yeah.
right
Oh,
hand side,
yeah.
there's a little cross swords. Right click on that.
Oh, there we go, yeah.
There you go.
Look at that. Very
And that's
cool.
everybody rolled in. So with Earthdawn, initiative gets rolled every round. So this is not your initiative for the whole combat. Each round we roll initiative. Mostly because there are some disciplines have talents that allow them to add to their initiative or take away others' initiative, so on and so forth. So it's a changing thing.
Right.
But we do start with Thorndor. So in your turn, you may move up to your movement, which is in yards. Each of the hexes on this map is 2 yards. So it should be fairly easily divisible. So yeah, if you can see the hexes, I know it's quite a dark map.
I can see them.
Each hex is 2 yards, whatever your movement is, which is 10. So you can move 5 hexes.
So I'm gonna.
So a move is a free action, and then you can perform 1 standard action, as many simple actions and free actions as you can kind of fit in your round, in your turn. Simple and free actions are usually triggers to other things. So, for example, avoid blow, I think, is a simple action.
It says 3 on mine.
A free action. There you go. It's a free action. But when that's you take in response to somebody attacking you, so it doesn't use up your action, as it were. So yeah, what would you like to do?
I'm out of range of those wolves, and I think it's important to protect the horses. So I'm going to shout to the others, I'm going to the horses, and I will move my 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, you should just be able to drag in a straight line.
Yeah, I'm there. That was 5.
Yeah, cool.
And I've got astral sight. Is that something I can only use a certain number of times, or?
So astral sight is a talent. It costs you strain to use, so you take 2 points of damage. I think it might be 1 to use it, and that allows you to see into the astral world, into the astral plane. It's probably not very useful right now.
Yeah.
But you do see.
I'm not going to use it. So.
You do see 2 more wolves just over there.
Yeah. Can you hold action to, like you can in some of the other systems we play, or is this?
So if you got the PDF open,
Yep.
if you go to the combat section, like have you got the full PDF open, or have you just got the
I got the quick one.
the quick one? Okay. So there are combat maneuvers, and in fact, yeah, talent and ability interactions and reserve actions. So my computer's just gone really slow.
I'll just bring up the full player's handbook, yeah? No,
Yeah.
player's guide, sorry.
Player's guide, yeah.
Page 371.
Thank you, Ian.
Reserved action. So you may choose to wait until later that round for a more appropriate moment to act. So yes, you can.
Yeah, because I can't really do anything at the moment, so I'm gonna...
And you will when the trigger happens. So the same way as many other systems, as soon as the trigger happens, you get to act on that trigger for whatever action you are reserving.
So basically I'm waiting till the wolves get close enough to hit, basically. So I'm like tensed and ready.
Yep. And we'll do it next round. Begin combat, there we go. We'll do it next combat round, because actually another difference with Earthdawn is you declare intentions before you roll initiative. And roll initiative and resolve those. So it's a bit like we've played some other systems where you kind of have to say what you're doing before your turn. There's a bit more flexibility. You can change it. So we're on to... Oh, where's that coming up as? I thought I'd changed that. It comes up as Luke in the combat tracker for some reason.
I'm apparently in the fight. I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
I was wondering why it was a bit drafty in here.
I thought I'd changed that earlier, but...
It's alright, dude.
So, Ash, you are up.
Since I can see a threat, I'm going to go towards it. So, movement, I've got movement of 10. If I wanted to increase that, is that possible, or is that, as in, that's my normal movement?
Yeah, so you could essentially charge, which means you use your standard action to move your movement again.
Okay, but that will not allow me to make any kind of attack.
No.
Cool. So...
There are combat options, and they...
Bear in mind that I'm at the disadvantage. So, of course, I'm recording all of this, which means I cannot change my screen to look at anything.
Screen, yeah.
So I do need help.
So combat options are aggressive attack, attacking to knock down, attacking to stun, cool shot, set against a charge, splitting. Yeah, none of those really apply.
All right, so I'm going to start moving then. I want to charge.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 5. So I can go 10, right?
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I just charge into next to that wolf.
Yeah. Cool.
Am I able to unhitch my troll axe?
Yeah, so drawing a weapon is a free action. Absolutely.
And then I just
drawing weapons, speaking a few words, all those kind of easily accessible things are free actions.
I just give a sort of very deep throaty as I approach, very loudly, of course.
Yeah.
That's me.
Cool.
Thank you.
So,
I was torn between two different things. I'm gonna cast air armor.
oh, okay. So we have the first casting of a spell. Very exciting. Let me just check. So it needs a thread, right?
Yes.
So this is where we get into the intricacies of spell casting. So air armor. First of all, let's see what that does. Oh, no. Just on that one for information. But adds 3 to your physical armor, right?
Yeah.
Well, to whoever you touch, in fact. So essentially what it does is it puffs up a layer of air underneath whatever that person is wearing. Adds 3 to their physical defense, to their physical armor. So kind of extra padding to their armor. Doesn't work on a naked person, it specifically states that. So you have to be wearing clothes. Or armor.
They're particularly hairy.
I was going exactly the same place.
That'd be hair armor, that's a different spell.
Okay.
Popular for those of us who are going a bit thin up north.
Yeah. So the way spellcasting works in Earthdawn is you have these spell matrices that you have certain spells attuned to. You have air armor attuned to one of your matrices, and that holds the basic pattern for the spell. Some spells, that's all you need, it's just that pattern. Other spells you need to kind of complete the pattern or power them up with a thread, which means you need to make a thread weaving test. So you can't weave the thread and cast the spell in the same turn.
Mm-hmm. It's usually a 2-turn process.
First action will be, action this turn will be to weave the thread, and then if that works, next turn your action will be to release the spell, to cast the spell. So your difficulty, your weaving difficulty is a weaving difficulty of 5 on air armor. So you make a thread weaving test against a DC of 5.
Yeah, how do I do that? What do I need to do on my character?
So if you go to your talents, thread weaving, elementalism, you can spend karma on this if you want to.
What do you want me to do? Thread weaving, elementalism?
Yeah.
To roll talent?
Yeah, just roll the talent. Yeah, click to roll talent.
I can just put in how much karma I want to use there.
Yeah.
I'll leave the karma there, if that's okay. And see what happens. I don't know whether I should use it or not.
Absolutely no need to. 2d6, look, you got a 6 on one of them as well. So difficulty of 5, so that's 1 extra success. Which I believe... Sorry, this is the first time I've run Earthdawn in many, many years.
Does it give me extra threads?
I think it might mean you might even be able to cast it straight away.
Oh. Okay. Just going to cast air armor on myself then and cast it straight away.
Well, that's the spellcasting test. Hang on. No, you could. It would allow you to weave an additional thread, but you only need 1 thread for this spell, so the extra successes are kind of not needed in thread weaving, unfortunately. Yeah. So you, what are your spell matrices held in again? Are your spells held in?
Standard.
So yeah, but what kind of object is your spell matrix? So although it's an astral object, it also can be an object as well. So do you use the staff? Do you use a crystal?
So this matrix is just like a it's like
a ropes.
Yeah, it's like a cloth, leathery kind of like a polish almost.
Yeah. So that begins to glow as the spell is powered up, and that is your thread woven, ready to cast the spell next turn. Is there any movement or anything else you would like to do?
Yeah, I was going to move. Did you say each hex is 10?
2. Each hex is 2 yards.
And where can I see my movement as well?
Should be on the front page, on the characteristics page. Yours is 12.
12, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to move a bit further, just to...
Humans and they're rushing about, eh?
Move off. Okay, I'll move there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Did you say it was cast or not cast this round?
No, it's cast next round.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So, sickly wolves. Well, 2 of them are going to come in and attack the big stone man. So this is where some of the automation works quite nicely. So if I just press T over you and then go for a bite, the animals, they don't get any karma. So that's a success, you can see. Roll some damage. That's 9 damage. However, if I apply damage, it will say you take 6 damage after the armor has been applied.
Gotcha.
So that's probably done that. Has that done that for you straight away?
Yeah, I think so. I've now got 6 damage.
What's going on with your token? That token's completely wrong. Yeah, which is nowhere near your wound threshold, right?
No.
So you don't take a wound and you don't have to take a knockdown test. The other one is also attacking you. Fails to bite. The other one got a lucky bite. This one just kind of skitters off your obsidian skin. We've got some more, haven't we? These 2, what's their move? Oh, okay. Oh, what was it to measure your movement as you...
So, goodness, control. So let's select the token, press control, and then begin to drag it.
No, it's not doing it. Must be a module.
Wait, I can do it like this. So, and then you commit to a movement with a space. So if you hold the press the control key, so click on the token whilst pressing the control key.
Right, okay.
Drag to where you want to go, and then
Okay.
don't let go, and then you click in a location, and that sets a waypoint, and then you press the space bar to make it happen.
Yeah.
This is the
That's
intricacies
it,
of Foundry.
This is a foundry, lovely. So the 2 wolves from the south head up to attack the horses. And this is so this map is in 5 feet for some reason.
But we know that each hex is only 2 yards, right?
Yeah. I was pretty sure I changed that, but never mind. It's the trials and tribulations of making your own maps. For a VTT, you haven't used that much.
I admire your enthusiasm.
Did you want to do anything, Thorndar, while the wolves attack the horses? Or are you waiting for melee range?
I can use my, if I'm allowed to change, I can use my other part of my action for movement, can't I? Or not?
You can, because you can charge now if you like. Yeah, absolutely. If that's your decision, because they go for the horses, you're going to charge.
Yeah, 1,
Good with that.
2,
They're still going to get to bite the horses, though.
3. Yeah, I'm not going to be anywhere near them. I've got very short legs. 4, 5 will get me to there.
So with that. Fails to bite the horse. The horse is just kind of rearing and kicking away at this wolf.
On the horse.
Horses are what to do. The other one does manage to hit. Ooh! Getting a good bite. Bites into the horse's haunch. Ow. But that's not 5 over its wound threshold, so it doesn't need to take a knockdown test. So essentially, yeah, if your wound threshold is there, damage comes off goes up to your unconsciousness rating before you fall unconscious. If you take extra damage after unconsciousness, it goes to your death rating. Your wound threshold is the amount of damage you can take in one hit before you take a wound. So not in one round, in one action attack.
Gotcha.
And if it beats your wound threshold, you take a wound. If it beats your wound threshold by 5, you need to make a test to resist knockdown, to resist being knocked down by the blow, essentially.
Right.
With attack rolls, one of the good reasons for using the targeting function is if you beat the difficulty by 5, that's an extra success. So if you beat their physical defense by 5, it's an extra success. For each extra success, you add 2 to your damage stat, which this all does for you as well. So it's a little complicated, but also very nicely automated in this situation. Alabaster Moon, we are over to you.
I am in full charge mode. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Oops. 2, 4, 6, 8. Kind of 10 should take me to about here.
Yep.
Can I... So I looked at my kind of stealthy kind of stride, and I'm not really thinking this is a stealthy stride moment. I'm more thinking this is also a kind of charge and stab. Can I increase my movement at the kind of expense of an attack to get nearer the wolves?
Yes, you can absolutely dash. So you can use your action to move again.
Cool, that should bring me to here. And
Can you have a bow? You've got a bow.
yeah, I absolutely do, but I want to get sword stabby.
Fair enough.
Damion, we know where I am because, of course, no one can see what's going on the recording. Do you mind if I move my token so that I can give vision for? I will not.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So if I put myself...
So it's Thorndor's turn.
We roll initiative, don't we? You said.
We do. Bear with me a second. Hang on. I'm just thinking. Because we're only recording on one screen, that might be a really good idea, actually. Does that mean you can now see the whole map?
I can, but then I've lost vision for my... so everything's now sort of darker.
Right, okay.
But I mean, so perhaps this gives an idea for the... Hang on, let me just close the chat log window and the combat track. So this gives, anyone looking at this...
So yeah, put it back like it was. Yeah.
So you had the view of what things look like.
Sorry. Actually, hang on. Sorry, bear with me just a second, because I can do that. And although it is much darker than... There we go.
Oh, nice.
It's not as dark as it actually is. It is actually much darker than this. But that allows us to see the whole map, right?
Yeah. I think that'd be better for anyone watching this.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so next round. And remind everyone to use their initiative talents if you have any.
I don't have any.
No.
How do you...
I think that just auto-rolled initiative for everybody.
I think
Well,
it
that's
also
awesome.
rolled initiative for everyone.
Yeah.
I might be able to change that if that's not something we like. But
No. Look at that.
okay, the wolves get to go first. So you're going to target that one again. And miss. You're going to target that one again.
Sorry, I better move myself back into the gauge.
And miss. Yeah, the other two are going to target you.
You wanted us to declare what we did before we rolled initiative.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting used to a new system again, right? Okay, so yes, if everybody, so Ash, what were you going to do?
I will grin at the wolf that bit me and frown at the one that failed to actually injure me and try and split its head in two with my troll axe.
Okay, nice. Alabaster, what are you doing?
I'm going to move forward and stab the wolf in front of me.
Cool. Sol?
I'm going to finish making the weaving pattern with my gestures. Cast the air armor. Oh.
And Thorndor?
I'm also going to walk up to that wolf and hit it with an axe. Sword. Dwarf sword.
Cool. And the wolves are going to try and eat people and animals. And there are actually 2 more wolves that you can now see, Alabaster, from where you were.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. I didn't look up there.
Yeah. So, this one is going to attack our friend Ash, failing miserably.
Is that the one who succeeded the first time round?
Yes, it was. Now the other one succeeded. They're taking it in turns. Ooh, 13 damage. So that's 10 after armor's applied. Again, nowhere near your wound threshold because you're the hard as nails obsidian, right?
Hey, that's right, yeah.
And these ones are gonna 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, that works. 2, 5, 6, 7. Right, I'll get the hang of that bit. That's cool. Ash, you're up.
I'm not going to change what I originally said, although I'm now grinning at the second wolf as well. So we're doing targeting. So I do what? Which does it matter? Which wolf was the? So I'm going to target the top wolf from the assumption that that's the one that failed to bite me the first time round. Then what do I do? Click the weapon off the character sheet, or do I click the melee weapon?
No, click the weapon from the inventory.
And that's going to auto-select my talent rather than my basic non-magical skill.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And I want to add a d6 to this from Karma.
Because
I've got both melee skill as a discipline talent thing, and also as a mundane skill.
Okay.
So I don't know what it's selected.
So when I've tested it before, it's used your talent.
Cool. All right. So just click on the patrol axe.
I have had a little test.
Karma. What do I do? Just put 1 on Karma.
Put 1 on Karma, yeah.
And then I'll just do that.
Oh!
Wow.
I mean, which one were you hitting again?
The one that's targeted, yeah. And I'll roll damage.
Oh, I can't see your targets.
Oh, right. So it's the one to the top of the 2.
Right, okay, yeah. And then, click roll damage, and that'll add it'll say you've got, 8 extra steps on your ridiculous step damage. Step 26 damage. What?
So only 21 points of damage. Shall I apply damage?
Yeah. Yeah, click apply damage.
Took a wound.
Make knockdown test at difficulty 11. I haven't seen this work before, so... No, it doesn't work. Right, okay. So that's toughness, right.
So what you're saying is that there's a character sheet knockdown test, but it's not automated.
Yeah. So there's a thing on your combat thing for make knockdown test.
Yeah.
That's not.
We should
That
expect
doesn't
that to work. Cool. Okay.
No. It fails, so it is. Yeah.
Perhaps unsurprisingly.
Massively unsurprisingly, it's
Hammered into
it's
the
wounded, bleeding, hammered into the dirt. Yeah, knocked down. Not very happy at all.
survival of the fittest. You were
good.
too slow. That's me. I think unless there's something else I can do.
No.
1 second though. Can I? Is it an action to use Fireblood? It is standard action. Okay. All right. Never mind.
Yeah.
So I've got a. Hang on. I've got a Void Blow. One of those are free actions. I have to tell you I'm going to do that, do I?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So yeah, anybody who's got a Void Blow, bear in mind that if you get hit, you can then use
Gotcha.
you can use a Void Blow to not be hit.
Cool. Oh, no worries. Thank you.
However way it works. Hang on. Oh. Again, let me just check the avoid blow. Oh, you've got it. Yeah, you've got it as a skill. Yeah. Yeah. So you make an avoid blow test against the attack test result.
Yeah.
So you have to be what they roll on their attack test to avoid it.
Okay. I'll know for next time.
Yeah. Okay. Alabaster Moon.
Cool. If I go past this first wolf, will they get the equivalent of an attack of opportunity on me?
No.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Let's get at this one and then stab this wolf, please, as hard as I can with my amazing sword.
So if you hover your cursor over it and press T, that will target that wolf.
It certainly has.
And then, click your weapon in your inventory.
That's awesome. Ah, look at that.
Nice. 1 extra success.
I'll take that.
You can click on roll damage in the chat.
And 9.
And apply that damage.
6 after armor applied. Cool.
Yeah. Nice. So that's not enough to give it a knockdown test, but certainly upset.
That's good. Can I stab it with a dagger as well?
Do you have the extra attack feat?
No.
Or second weapon talent?
No.
Or are you a Tiskrang?
No.
Then
None
no.
of those things. It was worth checking. I do, however, have a void blow, so just throwing that out there in case it wants to try and bite me.
Yeah, cool.
Otherwise, that's me done.
Cool, so Sol, we're up to you now.
So I'm going to cast. Is this my second or my third turn?
This is your second turn.
But air armor's just been cast, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's got not casting against any defense or anything, are you? Just, I'm assuming you're casting it on yourself, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so right. Apologies.
I was wrong.
So you got an extra success on your thread weaving, right?
Yeah.
You could have put an additional thread into it, which means you can increase the duration or increase the effect or increase the target. So you can either make it last longer, make it +4 physical armor instead of +3, or target 2 people at the same time, but you have to be able to touch them both.
Yeah, so I'm going to just increase the strength and give it +4.
Give it +4, okay?
Yeah, I thought I could do that last turn, but I wasn't sure.
Apologies, absolutely.
Oh, it's all right. Sorry.
And now make a spellcasting test, because you still have to cast the spell.
Oh, how do I do that from my character sheet?
Click on the spellcasting talent.
Talent.
Yeah.
Okay. Do it as normal.
Difficulty. So you're actually casting it against your own mystic defense, but you can drop your mystic defense when you're casting spells against yourself. So yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Absolutely fine.
Okay, right. Okay.
It's cast, and you now have +4 physical armor.
Okay, cool. And then I can't start preparing another spell until next round, can I?
No, that does take your action to cast it. Yeah.
Fine.
So
That's cool.
spellcasting is a bit of a. Some spells don't require threads, so you can cast them straight away.
Yeah.
You can always. I mean, you can try casting raw magic, as in not using a matrix at all and not weaving any threads, just casting the spell. Pretty dangerous, though.
No, you mean from the astral plane? I'm not. Yeah. No.
Yeah, so just casting the spell without chat. So the whole matrix thing is there to protect you from corrupted astral space. If you happen to try it and you're in a corrupt area of astral space, you will more than likely take quite a bit of damage.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely fine. I'll just stick to
And or get horror marked. And
I may want to use my grimoire at some point, but
yeah, sometimes it's like a choice of do that or die, right? So you've got to do it. But you know, if the only kill this horror spell you know is one you haven't got in a matrix, and you haven't got time to retune it, you cast the spell, right?
Yeah. You can cast it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you can move. That's what else you can do, though.
Okay then. Very sensitive, isn't it? You're jumping up and down. How are you moving? How
What
should
are you
you be-
talking about?
I'm not trying to go there. How do I? Okay. I'm gonna zoom out a bit. Hang on, sorry.
I don't know why you're doing that weird spinny thing. I've done something to your token. It's quite cool, though.
I mean,
mine as well.
I kind of feel like I'm just running all
Where
over.
are you going?
I don't know.
What have you got?
I mean, that's some serious movement, dude.
I'm sorry about this.
You were somewhere over here, right? So
I can't
You're
even see the map
about
anymore.
there. There you go. So if I move you to up behind Thorndale, that's about where you wanted to get to, right?
Yeah, that's
Around
good.
the corner, yeah. Cool. Thorndale. I keep calling you Thorndale. It's Thorndale. Apologies.
Either works. I will move up to this wolf and hit it with my dwarf sword. So I do the cursor over at T.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Oh, I can see a little target thing comes on it. Tiny little one.
Yeah, and I go into my inventory and do that. Good stuff.
Failed.
Oh,
Just dodges out of the way. It sees your sword coming in at the last moment and dives behind the horse's legs. Okay, so we're going to move to round 3. Declare intentions before we roll for initiative, please. Let's go reverse order this time. Thorndor.
I'm gonna definitely hit that wolf this time.
Right. So,
I'm gonna cast a spell on the wolves.
cool. Alabaster.
stab it with a sword, probably using karma just to be extra stabby.
Cool. Ash.
Depends entirely on what having knocked down the wolf, what difference that makes. So what effect is that? It's knocked down.
So a knockdown creature can use its action to stand up, or can take a -3 to all tests. So -3 steps to all tests.
Okay.
So if it was biting at step 8, it would be biting at step 5 now.
So I attempt to finish it off. Slam
Okay.
the troll axe down.
And the wolves will, for the moment, attempt to keep trying to eat some horse.
apart from the ones that are trying to eat obsidian.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bad initiative.
I've got 2 1s in a row.
The wolves do get to go first. So the top one's the one on the floor, right? So
Yeah.
it's just going to snap at you from the floor.
Okay.
Taking a -3. Set modifier.
Oh, that's
-3.
where. Okay.
Oh, wow. Still managed to hit you.
How exactly?
Your physical defense only 8.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very sensible to me. Yes, apparently so. Because it's based off dexterity. I've got 6.
Yeah.
Step 6 in
Yeah.
dex. Being an obsidian, not exactly the most mobile
No.
creature. However, sorry, excuse me. Sorry, I'm going to avoid blow.
Oh, avoid blow, yeah, sorry, yeah, go on.
I haven't had a chance to do that so
Yeah.
far.
You got a 4, so you fail to avoid it, unfortunately. So you do take 2 points of damage after your obsidian skin. Not quite as bad as their last attacks. The other one is going to go for you as well. He's not on the ground. He also fails to hit. She, it. Okay, so the 2 that have been attacked by our dwarf, not brothers, are going to fight back. So against you, Thorndor. Fails. And against Alabaster, who has a high physical defense, it actually gets through.
Can I avoid blow, please?
You can avoid blow, yes. Or not.
Oh,
Oh!
that's quite a lot.
Yeah. Got an exploding die.
There's a cream for that.
You're going to need it.
So you take 17 damage after armor is applied. You took a wound and make a knockdown test at difficulty 8. So knockdown test is your toughness step.
So on my character
Unless
sheet,
you've
and
got-
I put wounds.
Unless
as
you've
well.
got wound balance. If you have the wound balance, talent or skill,
No.
that can replace your toughness step.
So my toughness step. Let's just.
So
do-
I should have done that all to your character sheet already.
Oh, do I not
Yeah.
add a wound of 1 to my wounds? Because
It's already on there.
I just added it on right now.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'll take it
And,
off.
and 17 damage. It should have done it. But yeah. No, add a wound of 1 and damage of 17. And
Okay.
then make that knockdown test, please.
So under damage, it's got stun and total. Do I change the total to 17?
You didn't apply damage, Damion. Maybe. Or you did.
I did, yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, the total to... It says 18 on your sheet at the moment.
Well,
Yeah,
I
total
just
should be-
changed the total to
17,
17.
Yeah.
And I've got a wound. I'm just going to close it and open it back up just to make sure that that's... Yeah,
Yeah.
it is doing its thing. And a toughness test, you say?
Yes.
Come on, toughness. Can karma help at this point?
So what's your wound threshold? 9. So your
9.
target was 8. Your target was 8.
I have not done well.
You have not done well. You are knocked down. You are prone.
And the sickly wolves.
And the other 2 wolves come and try and eat some horse. Okay. And this one is going to target that one, which is going to target the same one. The other 2 wolves are coming in and attacking the same horse. You're getting some good chunks. Right, that is all the wolves' turn. We're on to Soul's turn now.
Okay. I'm gonna cast. I'm gonna move. You see properly. Been using the zoom button, and it's kind of messed up my view for me. I'm not quite sure how to get it back.
You can use right click and drag to move the screen around.
Or the mouse
okay.
wheel to zoom in and out.
Oh, okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Again, really helpful. Okay, well, I'm gonna move down across a bit, and then I'm gonna start casting Earthdawn.
Yeah, which doesn't need any threads, does it?
I don't think it does.
No. So that's the spellcasting test.
Yeah.
I'll just be able to click Earth Darts, actually, yeah. You just
I'm
click
gonna
on
try
the
and
spell.
click it from the matrices and see if it'll. No, it won't.
No, so if you target the one you're going for, so
Yeah.
hover over it and hold T, and then on your list of spells,
Hold T.
yeah,
Okay.
and that'll target it. And then in your grimoire, in your spell list, click on Earth Darts, and that will do it the same as an attack.
Oh, okay. Because I thought that the spellcasting rules were different for grimoire use.
Yeah, no, that's just it is if you're actually casting it through your grimoire, but you've got it in a matrix. The grimoire is also just the list of the spells you know. So you're not grimoire casting; you are matrix casting.
It'll override it and cast
Yeah.
from the matrix because it's set to a matrix. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Okay, fine. That done anything? I pressed OK.
No.
I've on there. I've click. That starts. Okay.
No, maybe it doesn't work through there then. Okay. Oh, hang on. Click on cast on the matrix. There we go. Apologies.
Cast. Oh, there. Okay,
There's a
fine.
cast button. Yeah.
Yes, there is. It does.
There we go.
Nice.
And now effect is your damage, basically. So you've hit whichever wolf you were going for.
Cool.
Which I'm guessing is this one here.
Mhm.
So if you click on the word effect in the chat there under success, that'll roll the damage for you.
Okay. That's okay.
Oh, that looks
Click
nice.
apply damage.
And after armor applied.
They've got their armor is as good as my skin. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And they're sickly.
Yeah,
Gonna skin them, make a jacket out of it.
absolutely.
Until your armor.
Alabaster Moon.
Can I use my movement to become unprone?
You can use your action to become unprone.
Oh, I want to use my
Standard
action to
action.
stab it, though.
So you can. There is a combat option of leaping up. Bear with me. You can. So there is a combat maneuver of jumping up.
Cool.
Bear with me a second while I combat options. It's literally called jump up. This combat option may only be used by characters that are knocked down. Instead of taking a standard action to stand up, the character attempts to get back on his feet as a simple action. The character takes 2 strain, which is 2 points of just regular damage, and makes a dexterity test against a target of 6. The test is modified by the initiative penalty of any armor he is wearing, but does not suffer the -3 penalty for being knocked down. What armor are you wearing? I don't think it has an initiative penalty. No, it doesn't.
Dexterity.
So take 2 points of damage and roll dexterity. Your target is 6.
Okay, 2 points of damage. That moves me to 19. Dexterity. So I roll a 1d10. Can I add a karma dice to it, please?
No.
Oh.
Because it's not a talent.
Okay. I mean, I'll take it. It's a 7.
So target is 6. Yep. So you leap to your feet, and now you can use your Now you have your standard action free.
Yes. Let's do this. Can I use my karma on it now?
Yeah, because it's a talent.
Cool. Oh, it's a failure.
Yeah, it is a failure.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for playing. Thanks everyone for watching this. This is Deep Crypt playing Earthdawn. This is our first session. A little bit getting used to things, but thank you to Ian and Kieran and Phil and Luke for being great players and bearing with me while I get the hang of it.
Thanks, Damion, for running it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. A couple of quick acknowledgements before we go. We're using Foundry Virtual Tabletop, which is, and I'm using the official Earthdawn modules, which are available from the FASA website. We'll put a link to their website in the description. You can get the basic rules and stuff for free on there. It's a great site. Go and have a look at it. This map is from Dungeon Alchemist. The tokens that Luke made his own token, but the other tokens are from Hero Forge, and the ambient noises and sound that you hear are all courtesy of Tabletop Audio, who are another awesome, amazing resource for tabletop games. So yeah, go check out all those people. Come back and check us out again as well.
Yeah,
like
subscribe,
share,
and all that.
all that stuff. Lovely stuff. Thank you,
Take
people.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.